Hi. I haven't posted in about a week, and the reason is I have been not feeling great. My energy has been kind of effed up. And so I wanted to come on, get back into my daily streaming, and start by explaining again how important it is to, while you are learning to do or doing energy work and distance healing, you cannot take it lightly how important it is to keep yourself well and protect your own vibration as you're doing this healing. Um, my energy was definitely pulled this past week. And I also did energy work that I don't think I protected myself enough, and I think I went overboard. And if you don't know my background, um, I mean, I could say I'm just a regular person, but I am absolutely and never have been a regular person. As much as I tried for some time, thinking that I could somehow fit in and be normal, it's absolutely not possible. So, whatever. I get it. And so, when I was, first of all, I was born this way. I was under the impression just naturally that everyone was like me, that there was no reason for me to think otherwise. I was under the impression that everybody was basically having a similar life experience as I was having. I've always had communication with God or my creator or the energies of the universe. I'm not really sure at this point what to call it. I don't know if we are a computer program, and so like my programmer, which how is that any different from the concept of God? How is that any different from the concept of Gaia, which is just literally the earth as mother? There's, to me, and I've studied so many religions and philosophies, I don't see a difference. They all have just different ways of explaining things. It's kind of like Common Core math, it's all the same problem. It just is a matter of how you arrive at the answer. It's like going to a pizza parlor. They have 85 different types of pizza, but guess what? It's all the same ingredients. Or like you got your pasta, your calzone, your pizza, but they're all made of the exact same ingredients. So regardless of what you like or how you like it, it's all made of the same stuff and gets, basically arrives you at the same place. That's how I look at it, with some exceptions. That's not part of this video though. That's just kind of who I am. I always was connected. I was not raised with or in a particular religion. Once I learned what my heritage was, I definitely explored that and saw a lot of wisdom in it. But that's also how I saw the connections and uh, parallels with the other religions and philosophies, because I had studied all of them previous to understanding my own natural heritage. And that does resonate with me for the most part. But then the in practice and how it's played out in the world by my people, not so much. Not feeling it exactly. I understand on certain levels, and then other things I'm like, y'all are really actually kind of missed the point here. But I'm not here to judge. I just live it the way I see and go back to who I was before I was born. And I actually remember the moments right before my birth. When I was little growing up, I had this recurring nightmare basically because it would scare me, wake me up, and it was scary to me. When I got older and was able to sort of look at it logically, I was like, wait a minute, that's actually my birth memory. And so, literally, I remember the moments just before my birth. And another dinging, binging, and bonging. I should turn my phone off too. Um, and so, the interesting thing about my birth memory is that I wasn't in there alone. there was someone else in there with me, at least at that moment, who told me what to do. Okay, now you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And I'm like, yeah, I don't see how that's going to work. And I did it, and boom, here I was. So this is just who I am. I realized that a lot of the dreams that I had when I was little were actually, I was out of body, astral traveling. There were times when I would get up and I was like, I would get up out of my bed and I'd go to walk down the stairs to my mom's room, but instead of walking down the stairs, I would kind of float and be like, whoa. And I'd bound to the bottom, like float to the bottom of the stairs, and then go into my mom's room, and I'd be standing above her bed, Mom, Mom, Mom. And she would never wake up, and I couldn't figure out why in the heck she just wouldn't wake up. And that happened a lot when I was little. I came to realize that wasn't a bad dream. I was just out of my body. And even into adulthood, I would have these dreams that, and this is after I had an accidental out of body experience that literally scared the crap out of me. And I know I was out of body because I was in very deep meditation. I remember peeling out of my body, and I went to kind of roll over because I was a stomach sleeper at the time. So once I really fell into a deep sleep, I would roll over onto my stomach. So after I lifted out of my body, I didn't realize, and I went to roll over, and there I was face to face with my sleeping self. And the reason I know, I don't want to, like, spoiler alert, there's a reason I know I was out of body, and I won't explain it now because you would need to discover it for yourself. And let's just say you don't ever see yourself that way in this world. You have to be out of body to perceive yourself in this particular way. And so I won't say anymore. If you've been out of body and seen yourself, you know probably exactly what I'm talking about. But I was like, whoa. And it scared me. And so what the interesting thing is that it kind of scared me awake, but I couldn't move because I was out of my body. And my body went, and I had to, like, get sucked back into my body. And I was like, and sat up I was startled. And that's the only time that I was, like, consciously aware in the moment of being out of my body. The other things, they felt and seemed like dreams, but I know they weren't. I have kind of tried to get out of body since that experience, but there's part of me that is like, what's the point? And what if I can't get back in? And your ego wants to protect your physical existence here. And so there's a lot of resistance there. And since I really didn't think I had a very good reason for leaving my body that was super compelling, I couldn't get past that ego resistance because I'm like, yeah, I really don't. I mean, it's just like for fun, just to see if I can do it. Well, honestly, that's not a very compelling reason. And since I've always been like I am, I was on another natural path that wasn't one where I'm just going to, for no particular reason, go and astral travel. What I did learn how to do at the age of 11 was distance viewing and distance healing. And that I find much more useful and intentional. And there's no reason for me to leave my body to do that. So that's sort of my background. And I'm so also just to give you a little background as well, I learned that I was hearing other people. I didn't know that that's what it was at first. And for many, many years. I mean, I discovered that I was hearing people when I was like maybe in my 40s. And I'm older than that now. But I thought that I was having invasive thoughts. I thought it was me, like my imagination projecting what I thought this person might say, right? And then one day I was like, that's not at all what it is. I'm literally hearing their thoughts. And I didn't want to hear their thoughts because don't you know, most people's thoughts are pretty bad, like low level, very negative, mostly about themselves and of course about other people. But what I found a lot, and the day I realized this, I was in the store and I passed a woman, our carts passed, And I got this very invasive thought, and she was like, I don't really even want to say it out loud. Um, she said something that basically was a thought about herself. She was an overweight woman, and she had my brains received a thought that I thought I formed about her. And I'm like, what in the heck? I would never think that. I don't think like that. I don't even believe that's not me. And that's when I was like, yeah, that isn't me. I literally just heard this woman think what she thought I was thinking about her. I heard her thought of fear about what I was going to think about her because she was fat. And me, look, if you know anything about the work that I've done to help people reduce inflammation, I wrote the first gluten-free guidebook back in 2004. I'd been gluten-free since 1997 because it was about that time that everyone started gaining weight, and I was having health problems. My whole life I've had health problems from inflammation. I didn't know at the time that's what it was. It's taken many years to realize, okay, gluten, lactose, all these other things, medications, not being grounded, not having the right amount of hydration, all of these things create this incredible inflammatory environment in our bodies, and it materializes in our physical selves in a variety of different ways. I was gaining weight just along with everybody else, but I was also having a lot of asthmatic issues and pain and all of that. Luckily, I stumbled upon some information and healed myself dramatically, and then wrote a book several years later to help other people because I was just telling people and writing it on napkins. And then I'm like, I need to write this stuff down. It's still available on Amazon. It's called the Southern California Secret Diet Club, and you can go to snottybodies.com and find the digital course that is mostly complete. I just try to get it out there to people. There's so much information out there that it's out there, but there's also so much information that you don't know where to start or what to do. And then a confused mind always says no, and you just go right back to what you were doing. I totally get it. That's why I have my book. It's very short and to the point. It gives you lists of what you can eat where. If you have to stop at 7-Eleven and you're starving and you have to grab a snack, just grab this, this, and this. It's not healthy food. It's junk food, but it's the least of the evils. It's not as inflammatory as the other things would be. So that's that. So I have great compassion for people in our world that have no idea what to do about it. And it's gotten so bad to the point now that we're supposed to embrace obesity and say that it's beautiful. I'm sorry, it's putting people in a lot of pain on every level, not just physical pain, but their psyche, emotional pain. No one wants to be like that. And that's why the diet industry and the weight loss food industry is so lucrative. Because we all know that a healthy body is going to be extremely lean, actually. When you look at indigenous tribes and how they live, they are very lean to the point where we would say, oh, they're too skinny. We know they're not. We know they're just very, very healthy, living in harmony with nature, grounding their bare feet on the bare earth. So my natural self is not about judging people who are overweight and struggling. It's about compassion and wanting to stop and say, hey, you know what, I've got something that can totally help you, but also knowing that that's not well received and I don't want to be invasive. So that's when I realized that I was hearing other people's thoughts. And once I realized that, I was like, I don't want to hear other people's thoughts. And it took me a while to learn how to turn it off and or like dial it down because it was up at 11, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And there was a lot of chatter in my mind because I could just hear everybody thinking. And like I said before that, I didn't realize that's what was happening. And I was able to literally be like, I don't want to hear it. And that part of that came to learning how to create that protection of my own electromagnetic field. And that's what I'm talking about today. This past week, my son is in college for the first time, and he was having some issues. They're normal college roommate issues. Oh, these things. These normal college roommate issues, and trying to help him navigate those waters. And it got pretty messy there for a minute. The only way through it is through it. The only way out is through, how you just got to get through it. And it all turned out actually to his benefit, as I knew it would. Plus, I was doing energy work on him and the situation, like protecting him and giving him, that boost of energy, keeping his morale up, his focus, and the entire situation. But then in the meantime, I'm doing these live streams, helping you to understand and to do with me some energy work and distance healing. But then the other day, I went into my distance healing mode and I overdid it. I'm like, I did a distance healing for a friend's friend who I know who is having some issues, cardiac issues. And so, I said, is it okay if I do some distance healing? And she was like, yeah, bring it. Absolutely. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I just went into my space and did that distance healing. And then I'm like, you know what, while I'm here, I'll do this person, this situation, that thing, that. And I ended up doing a bunch of stuff. And on the heels of that day, I started getting really bad tachycardia, which is, when your heartbeat is off. And like I went outside to walk my dogs and I literally had to bend over, and my pulse was just, my heart was racing really fast and it was so uncomfortable, and I had to lay down and take a nap. I thought maybe that would help. I took the dogs out again later. The same thing happened again. I had to lay down, and I thought, what in the heck did I do? I just bought a new bag of coffee. It was on sale. Maybe there was some kind of weird funky stuff going on with that coffee. What else did I do? Did I eat something different? I didn't get a lot of sleep the night before, so maybe that had something to do with it. So I just took that day really easy. I hydrated with some water and magnesium. But man, it just, like, I did not feel well. My heart hurt. And that night I went to sleep. I woke up the next day and I'm like, what do I do? Should I not drink coffee? And look, I have a love-hate relationship with coffee, honestly. I've quit coffee before. And when I can retire and not have to worry about making a living money-wise, I will not drink coffee anymore. I am a literally better person. I'm more connected. I'm happier when I don't drink coffee, but I'm also very autistic. I'm not grounded like in my brains to where I can't work. So in order to exist on this physical plane and be the breadwinner in my family, which I still have to do because I'm a single mom, I've never received child support, I have to hustle. And that's what coffee does for me and why I drink it. That's the only reason. And so the next day when I woke up, I'm like, I don't know if I should drink this coffee or not. So I touched it and waited to see what would happen, and nothing really happened. I could still feel the residual funk, like my heart still hurt from the day before. And I drank the coffee and I felt fine. I had the food that I had the day before. Sorry, I feel like, did I get a bruise here or something? Something hurts right here. I ate the same food basically that I ate the day before. I felt fine. So that's when I realized, you know what? I didn't protect myself enough, and I overdid it with those healings, with that session. And doing work for someone with cardiac issues, it's like I drew some of it back into my own body. And this is why we have to protect ourselves before we do these energy healings at all. I remember right after 9/11, I sat down. At the time, I had a puja, which is like in yoga, like there's Hinduism, and then there's yoga, and then there's Ayurveda. Yoga, Hinduism, yoga, Ayurveda. Ayurveda is like the actual practices, the health, the food, the diet, the da-da-da-da of, it's kind of like yoga is, and Ayurveda are the lifestyles of the yogis. So I had a puja at the time, which is like an altar, and I went to my altar, and this is where I would meditate, and I did some energy work. on 9/11 and the people and everything. But you know what I did at the time? I actually like projected my own energy, and I didn't know not to do that. And I was out for months. I was so depressed. I was so, not only did I use my own energy, but I also took their energy, like on purpose. This is what I'm doing. I didn't understand that is so dangerous. And so I think the other day when I did all this distance healing for this person with cardiac issues and all these other people in situations while I'm at it, I overdid it and did not protect myself enough. And so that is what I'm going to teach you how to do today. I'm impressing upon you to just do a little bit. When you are well and balanced, a little bit goes a very long way, as opposed to if you are not well and not balanced and not grounded. It's like listening to a radio station that's a little bit out of tune and it's real staticky, versus if you just turn it a little bit more this way and come into balance, it's nice and clear. And that's where we want you to be. So I'm still feeling the residual effects of that, and I'm not going to do any distance healing for a minute. I've been grounding, I've been hydrating, and I've just been working on situations here that I need to work on. So this is how you want to do it. When you are about to do a distance viewing or healing, you realize that you are the technology, and your electromagnetic vibration is pulsed out through your heartbeat. And you can think that I'm kooky or I'm making this up, but finally science, which always comes late to the party, science has confirmed that. Your electromagnetic pulse goes out into the world around you, and it keeps going basically infinitely. So the quality, the tone, is what goes out and what attracts. Electromagnetic. So your electrical pulse goes out and then magnetically attracts back in, because the heart twists, right? Dun, 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 dun. It's a spiral. And when you're pulsing out, that's your electricity. And when you're it's contracting, you're drawing back in through magnetism. So knowing that you're drawing back in, you want to infuse your force field with a protective high energy vibration. Part of the protection is having that high energy vibration so that the lower vibrations can't come in. You know, you've seen in science movies where they show the ovum and the little spermies going in, and like one of them will swim in there, and then it's like, and it creates this shell kind of around it, and none of the other ones can get in. Do that. So your intention is like basically how you do it. Your intention is how you energy heal as well. Thoughts are electrical processes. You are the technology. Your thoughts, the reason you've heard it say thoughts become things, what you think about, you bring about, that's because your thoughts are your program. You're programming the world around you to do what you're thinking. And sometimes it happens instantly. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to all connect and pull in together. But what you want to do is, the first thing is you make that intention, you raise your vibration by intending it to be so. You envision, see it coming in. When you close your eyes and it is dark, that is your like operating system. As soon as you begin to create, you'll see the light coming in. You're creating with light, life force energy. And so draw in from the universe into your force field, your electromagnetic force field. That's about, your normal force field is about like 6 feet, 6x6 bubble, depending on your own particular size. Of course, you can expand that. I wouldn't contract it much, but your basic default setting is going to be 6 to 7 feet, and it goes down into the earth below your feet as well, above your head about 3 feet or so maybe, and down into the earth. So it's like this bubble, this electromagnetic bubble around you. Draw in high frequency energy. Don't go too high because you can burn yourself out. Reikiing yourself, you have to know when to stop. Going in baby steps is better than leaps, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Too much growth at one time will burn you out. And then you'll have to stop for a hot second. And that's why I haven't been on in about a week, because I literally just burned myself out. So do that, protect yourself. And you know what? You'll feel it. You'll be like, okay, I'm ready. If you don't get to that point, maybe just practice that protection. Don't be like, well, I think I did it. I kind of did it. I mean, I said I intended, so let's go ahead. No, that's what I did the other day, and I rushed it. I shouldn't have done that. I should have realized that I was in the middle of a bunch of other things with my son, and that I was not prepared, and I was not at the level to provide any kind of distance healing. And in the vision of distance healing, I'll go into this now. You want to, if you've ever seen how the HARP technology works, you've got a radio tower here. It bounces the radio signal off the stratosphere and down onto a point. Okay? That's essentially what you're doing as well. But you don't want to broadcast from your radio tower, up your own energy and down. You want to grab other energy, not your own. Grab the universal life force energy and direct that. Scoop up energy that is not within your own bubble. Scoop up energy that's out there and available, just freely available. You know Tesla, he understood and taught us that all this around us is energy, free energy. Use that free energy, and you're going to direct it anywhere. You can bounce it off the stratosphere. You can just send it over however you want to do it. I think what I did is there wasn't enough separation, and I kind of beamed my own energy, boom, boom, and without protecting myself enough. So I'm still kind of feeling it, but I am feeling better. I mean, it's been a few days now since I did that. I messed up. So also, while you're doing that, you have to know when to stop. You don't want to overdo it for somebody. You might have the best of intentions, but in that intention, include that you want to direct universal life force healing energy enough, just the right amount, just love, light, and in the right amount, at the right frequency, for them to receive healing and feel well and uplifted, or as they desire, because everyone has their own free will and you want to make it accessible to them. But if you've ever been Reiki'd, or if you are a Reiki practitioner, it's very important for the Reiki practitioner to know when to stop. Too much is going to burn someone out, short out their system, and then they're less well, if you are a very high vibrational person, you'll notice that people are attracted to you and love to be around you, but they can only just handle so much until they have to go away, and they might not want to communicate or see you for a while, but they still love to be around you in very, very little, tiny little bits. That's because your energy is way too much for them. And that's okay. Their energy is way too low for you. And there's people who have higher energy than you, and you can be around them sometimes for a little bit, and it feels good for a minute, but then you've got to know when to go. And that also is sort of like when you are a very high energy person and you're not quite clear on preserving your energy. And that's kind of like similar to having a protected bubble. But when you're just throwing energy out there, it's just wild. You're going to burn people out. You're going to end up getting burned out. Knowing how to balance, knowing how to use your energy for you, knowing how to dial it up and down as you see fit. Like I had to dial my 11 hearing everybody's thoughts down. I can turn them up when I want to. It's like I don't really do that though, because I don't want to hear what people are thinking. Unfortunately, a lot of people have a lot of really negative thoughts, and that's a sad thing. But there are relationships that I had to cut off because we were very, very psychically connected, and I could just hear them all the time. And it's like, this is just toxic for me. I'm going to have to let that go. You are not obligated to remain in toxic relationships. As a matter of fact, in some sense, you're obligated not to remain in those relationships. You can love someone and be in their lives from a distance that is healthy distance for you. So now I want to talk about exactly how you can project energy and universal life force healing energy to people without projecting your beliefs or fears or baggage or your own desires, because again, this is the realm of free will, and you might have the best of intentions in your own opinion, but it's not what is best for them. And you are not all seeing, all knowing, and so you do not know what is best for them and what the larger plan and how everything is playing out. Your job is only to provide universal life force, healing energy, provide light, provide love, and that is all. You can't say, please make them agree with me. You can say, please allow this situation to resolve to the highest good. That's obvious. That's light, that's love, the highest good. That's what it was probably going to do anyway, and you are just affirming that and helping it along and being like a cheerleader and providing that a little bit of extra assistance. There are sometimes reasons that we cannot understand. I heard a Willie Nelson song, and it was about how he witnessed all these children playing, and then he saw this one little boy who was just sitting there kind of peacefully smiling, and he realized this boy is blind, and he's like, why, God, why would you do that? And the Lord basically said, that is not for you to understand. Oh, okay. You're just a man. That is not for you to understand. And that's okay. You don't have to know. One of the most freeing things I ever learned is that it's okay for me not to know, and that I get to say, I don't know. And I used to have a friend who used to tease me, and that was like his, how he would imitate me. He's like, I don't know. And I really didn't realize I said that a lot, but it was very freeing to be able to say that, because not only don't I know, I'm not even supposed to know. All I'm going to do is say, I want the best for you. I want to help you achieve what you most deeply desire. Here's some universal life force healing energy to help you along your way. There you go. Bless you. And I mean that. I am God. I am creation. I am whatever you call it, having this experience as me. The same consciousness that makes me is in you. You are God, living as you, perceiving as you. So when we see each other, and don't think that I can't see you, I see you. You see me. We are God seeing ourselves. as ourselves. And so when you see my issues, my pain, my strengths, my joy, you're witnessing an aspect of yourself that you can relate to and can understand if you put yourself in that basic energy. And what you are experiencing, I am in no position to judge or to change for you or to wish it was different. You are creation, having the experience of this realm as you. And I acknowledge that. And that is kind of like what namaste means. What namaste is I honor and acknowledge the divinity within you. It's the same divinity that's within me. We're just two different expressions now connecting. We're all connected, and you can connect to any of these realms. I'll explain 0 point to you. You know how a diamond, all those facets of the diamond, and it can be just like a diamond that's like in a ring where it's just the top, or it can be 360 degrees of diamond and facets, but they all come together at that one point in the middle. They're all connected. All the facets are connected at that one point because they are all made of the same stuff in the same thing. That right there is the 0 point. If you ever want to see and understand what someone else is experiencing, you go to that 0 point and up into their facet. We're all facets of the same diamond. And let's say we've got this faceted diamond and the light is coming from this side. You might imagine that the darkness is on this side, but that's not true, is it? The light comes right through and goes right out the other side. There's light in all of them. It's just different angles and different reflections because all those individual facets have different angles that connect to so many around them and reflect. So you've got to kind of try to wrap your head around that concept of a 360 degree, 8 billion faceted diamond that's connected at one point. If you can figure out a way to get yourself to exist for just a millisecond at that one point, you'll be able to have that 360 degrees of knowledge and understanding that represents the experiences of every single being. And I'm just talking about people, 8 billion people. That is how you and I are connected. So in doing this video, for example, I'm basically broadcasting it to myself in all of my different forms. Not me, the me that you hear and see, but the divinity me that is a fraction of the same divinity that's another fraction in you. So that's kind of it. Stay hydrated, eat high vibrational foods. Whatever you put in, on, and around your body should resonate as high or higher than your own body, or it's literally robbing you of your life force. In this day and age, it's very, very hard to do. I just ordered some more seeds. I need to get a water filter. I need to ground more. I mean, we all need to do all this stuff, right? To make ourselves better and better and better all the time. To be able to access that higher frequency, the fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it. You know it's there. You know what it is for you. And I would love it if you'd leave in the comments, like, what is it for you? I would love to hear. There's someone outside my window. I would love to hear how you understand and explain these things, or if this is all brand new to you, but you're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Um, you know, sometimes, and I got a couple new subscribers, and whoever you are, I love you. Even just my little baby bit of subscribers, when I see that people are joining in as slow as it seems to be going, that fuels me. Sometimes I'm like, is anybody listening? Does anybody really care? Do you remember that song from the 1980s by Missing Persons? Do you hear me? Do you care? Sometimes I feel like that. Like, am I just talking to myself here? Um, but I think one of the main things we can do is, you know, all of the obvious stuff. I'll just rattle them off again. Okay, hydration with electrolytes, grounding on the bare earth, high vibrational food, grow your own sprouts in a jar if that's all you can do, along with all the other junk food. I'm right there with you. I way too many Snickers. Like sometimes that's my safe place. When I fill up my gas tank and it is so expensive, I'm like, I need a Snickers. So um what else? Breathing. Oh my gosh. I guess I'm gonna have to do a video on breathing too, huh? Because I personally don't do it. Like some of these videos I do because I'm like, I need to remind myself of this. Let me share it with you guys because I know someone else needs to hear it too. I've gone into the hand positions. I don't know that much about them. I've practiced yoga since I was like 3 years old, but the mudras, um, I wish I knew more about them. If you, and I've been watching some videos, but they always leave out this one and this one. When you look at pictures or videos of Elon Musk, and I don't want to trigger anybody by saying anyone's name, but other people in high positions of power, their hands are either like this down here, which is the yoni mudra, down here where their yoni would be, even though they're mostly men, or like this if they're in a conversation or a meeting. These mudras are like the superpower mudras. Those mudras are usually missing from the videos about mudras, and these are very, very important. This one, when you do mudras, you're creating closed circuits, and basically it's like opening different apps. Like on your computer screen, when you open one app, you're creating basically a circuit, a closed circuit, and opening that program. These are programs. Hold it for 2 or 3 minutes in order to get the benefits. This is balance. This is why we do this when we pray. This is for balance and other things. So research these mudras. Drop a link for me if you know of a particularly great video on mudras, or if you do videos on mudras, by all means. I would love to see what your content is. And if you'd like a video on mudras, I'll research it a little bit more and bring it to you guys, because this is something we all need to know. These are secrets that have been kept from us. So that's it. I really, really appreciate all my subscribers. I really do. And I love when there are likes and comments and shares and stuff like that. We'll get there. This information really needs to just get out there to the world a little bit more. The content on YouTube and TikTok and everything like that can bring you down. It's okay to be aware of what's happening in the world, but if you inundate yourself, if you get too much of it, it's just like positive energy healing. Too much negative energy is going to mess you up. And we need you to be balanced. We need you to be high energy, and we all need to be taking our baby steps upward, because that's how we're going to get to the next level. I don't want to say get back to where we should be, because I think we're going somewhere new. But I'd like to get there without a huge amount of trauma. I'd like to get there in the most beautiful, elevated, and natural way. So here's what I'll do right now. I'm just going to do a quick manifestation and energy for all of us watching right now. I'm protecting my energy. I'm infusing my bubble with protection for me and my energy. Please do the same for yourselves. And I would like to just pulse out some energy that we elevate to the next level with healthy, loving, life force energy, happiness, tranquility, and that feeling of excitement for what is next. And that is all. Namaste.